What's up, everybody? Welcome back to After the Snap. I'm your host. You know me, Tasha Pierce. And today it's like a freaking Star Trek palooza. We got two episodes of Trek to discuss today. The first one will be Star Trek Discovery's Rosetta. We're nearing the end of the road for this season of Star Trek Discovery. So I'll be glad to hear what you guys think about Rosetta this episode. And then also we have the first episode of season 2 of Star Trek Picard. And that one is called The Stargazer, and I think that's the one that most people are super excited to discuss. That's why we're discussing it last. So this first one, Star Trek Discovery. Um, yeah, it's like it's kind of a mixed bag of opinions on this episode. Um, I won't say it was one of my favorites. I didn't hate this episode. But there are some people who have some very strong feelings about this episode. I hope they show up today to discuss it more at length. Um, I watched the episode for a second time, Rosetta. And then there are some nitpicks. There were nitpicks the first time around. There were nitpicks when I saw the trailer for this week's episode of Star Trek Discovery. I had nitpicks simply based off the trailer. So I guess based on the premise that we had gotten, which is um, Discovery's captain, freaking first officer, uh, Angus said it was poopy. So Michael Burnham, Saru, Detmer, and Culber all went on an away mission. And during this away mission, the part that I had the biggest issue with was during this away mission with everybody else still on the ship. Book and Tarka said, "Hey, we need to sneak on the ship because I need to put a patch on Zora so that uh yeah, I need to put a patch on Zora so that she won't be able to, or it will take her some time before she'll be able to see that we have attached ourselves to Discovery's hull so we can sneak in this hyperfield where 10C is. We want to sneak in with Discovery, but we need to get on the ship to put a patch on the ship." And I'm like, that's unrealistic. It is too many people on that ship, and you cannot tell me that there is not one single camera on Discovery. But that was my issues. My issues were mostly with that side of the plot. Even though things, they did start to jump the shark a little on the A side of the plot. But on the B side of the plot, I was like, hey, uh, this is freaking stupid. The B side was stupid to me. The A side I was okay with. Hey there, boy. Thank you very much. You said Tarka violated Zora. Yeah, he did. And I'm surprised that there's not enough outrage about that. This is a sentient uh, or a sentient being. They've already named her sentient. So if she is sentient and he's going in and doing all of these things to her person without her permission, then he has violated her. Okay, so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time because Picard is the one that I think most people are excited to talk about. I'm going to talk about Discovery first, though. You chime in if you got anything, and then we can talk about how we felt on the other side of the conversation, the discussion of the episode. So I don't know why I started with this, but what we have is, like I said, now we're on the other side of the galactic barrier. Seems that we're in this new galaxy. We are finding that the laws of physics haven't changed, thank goodness. But there's a hyperfield where 10C is presumed to be inhabiting. And then there is a desolated planet where they assume that this must have been 10C's original home world. And when or before it was destroyed, because they have such superior technology, they were able to escape. Maybe not all of them, but most of them were able to escape. What you got here, Angus? Dead world with sketchy ruins or functioning megastructures around the star. Which do you look at? Now, to me, you and I have had this one on. We've had this conversation on Discord. So if you are not a part of the Discord, you need to join. But I thought that she made it clear that they didn't want to encounter this species until they had some way of knowing how they were supposed to communicate with them. So I thought it was I thought the choice was well made. I thought that, look, I don't want to meet uh this guy before I go. I don't want to meet him before I go through his medicine cabinet. And by meet him, you know what I mean. I don't want to do that until I went through his medicine cabinet. So I need to go to the medicine cabinet before I lay down with this guy, right? I know this was a really crazy and off the wall example. But before I lay down with this guy, I need to go in his medicine cabinet and see what kind of medicine he got in there. Well, that's the way I feel like they did with 10C. Before we go trying to talk to them, we need to see what's on that planet so that we know what we're walking into. We could at least have a place to start communicating with them. I got that. I understood that. I wouldn't have gotten on the Dyson sphere. I would not have gone over there because there might have been a person alive over there, and then they would raise the alarm that we're some outsiders. And if they wanted to, they squash you like a roach. So now you're squashed and Earth is squashed. Because if you didn't know, the DMA, the new improved DMA that 10C sent back out to our neck of the woods, is headed directly towards Earth, Titan, and Navarre. And we know that those are three of the most important planets to us inside of this world. Angus said kicks the soapbox. Yeah, that soapbox though. And again, there was some issues. There were some issues that I think I might agree with you guys on, but I just wasn't that wasn't one of them for me. Thank you. I am the dark magician. Thank you. I appreciate that. Reinhardt said that's one thing they didn't make clear. Are they in a new galaxy or are they in the void between galaxies? I thought they were in a new galaxy. And the reason why I thought so is because the void, the barrier was the part in between, right? So I don't know. I could be reading that wrong myself. Let me know what everybody else thinks. Reinhardt said he liked it. He loved seeing Detmer off the ship again, getting to take more of an active role. You said, but you check both. I would not check those. I wouldn't check the Dyson. I would not go near that structure. I would think, if it were me, that I would definitely go to the planet to see what relics are down there, what can give me some type of insight on how to communicate with the people. I wouldn't check both places initially. I think I would go to that planet, I would learn what I could learn, and then you only have so much time. Then I would go and try to knock on the door of the hyperfield, so to speak. But yeah, so I guess we started with this picture because even though I said I would definitely go down to the planet, General Ndoye from Earth is like, no, we should not go down to the planet at all. We should go straight to that hyperfield and talk to 10C. She made her objections known. Burnham was like, yep, I get what you're saying. This is the way that I think that I want to do it. I'd prefer to do it this way. I'll take that chance. And Ndoye is telling her, you taking chances and our worlds are in danger. This is not the time to take chances. We got that little debate. Of course, Burnham comes out on top of this debate, but it was good to see that Ndoye was like, I don't care if my thoughts are in the minority. I am going to tell you how I feel. And she told them how she felt. They didn't agree. They decided they're going to go on this away mission. Let me see what Angus is saying here. The barrier is on the edge of the Milky Way, and the stars around the hyperfield are on the outskirts of the Milky Way, just beyond the barrier. Else the star charts wouldn't apply. Um, I don't. I'm still not understanding. I'm not understanding that. I just assumed that if we go in through the galactic barrier, that on the other side of this barrier is a new galaxy. But that's my. I don't have no understanding of what you just said to me. Oh, Reinhardt said, I got to say this. You got to know how much I love Discovery, but I got to be honest with you. I'm starting to feel like we've been moving right along with the story, and now we're here, and it's time to start wrapping it up. And in some ways, it feels like they're starting to drag their feet. I've been feeling like that. That's my big issue with this season, this back half of this season, is that we should have met 10C already. We should, or at least we should already be past how do we communicate with them. This is not the time, not 2 episodes before it's over. This is not the time. We need to start seeing solutions and start, instead of getting more problems. That's one of the issues that I did have with this episode. um I'm trying to wrap myself into why we are doing things the way that we are, and I'm trying to be on the team. Like, okay, I see why we're doing that, but this drawing things out to the very end. This is a blueprint that they have been using since season one. We really need to come up with a new way of telling the story, because this way is so formulaic. It's like, do I only need to watch the first episode of Discovery and the last episode of Discovery to get the full story? Shouldn't I need to watch everything in the middle? They're making it very easy for you to say, I'll skip several episodes, because we know they're not going to do nothing anyway. We just inching closer and closer to this answer. You said going to the hyperfield is more dangerous than investigating the ring. That's what I was thinking. I thought it would be safer to just I thought it would be safer to just go to the planet, because even on the rings there might be somebody there. And if they're there, they're going to alert others. But yeah, I noted that going through that hyperfield was definitely more dangerous than investigating the rings. If I had a hierarchy of things for me, these are my choices. I would say I would go to the planet, and then I would go to the rings, and then I would go to the hyperfield. But Ndoye was like, no, 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 let's skip all of that and go straight to the hyperfield. I we can yeah, I think her way of thinking might have been wrong, but me and you, we are kind of like, we're in the same neighborhood, but I'm taking the long way, you taking the short way. You said, firstly, the galactic barrier is stupid from an astrophysics point of view. That said, there are Milky Way stars just beyond it that can be seen from inside of the barrier. I I would have to pay attention to that. I don't think I paid attention. I really don't be paying attention. Now, Reinhardt, I don't know what you're agreeing with. And uh Angus said, nah, the last 2 episodes, because they're always two-parters. Yeah, we definitely are having the two-parter. So you will have to watch the first episode and the last 2 episodes. I get it. He said, Okay, you said I'm probably asking about something too realistic. I brought that up because in a NASA documentary, they were talking about the space in between galaxies. And yeah, like once you start once you start bringing in like the real science, what they really think is going to happen, you've lost me. I'm using everything that I know is based on what they've told me in the universe. Um, and then, curiosity might make me say, oh, let me go and check into this. That sounded interesting. Or let me see if there's some real science behind that. But in the show, whatever science however they explain it, I'm okay with it. As long as it doesn't contradict something they've already done in the same season. Like you can't tell me that all of a sudden 10C is a humanoid creature that speaks perfect English, because now I've got a problem. The science, I think, has to agree with what they've introduced in this universe. Oh, Reinhardt, you said I was agreeing with you saying that that's the blueprint they've been using. They need to change it up. Yeah, they do. It's becoming way too formulaic to me. So here we go. We got our away team. It's looking like they're making Cobra going on away missions a real thing. We see that they're in their tactical bio suits or whatever we're calling these outfits, and that they also, uh, we have the first officer, the captain, Detmer, the best pilot, and the doctor. Well, I guess there are other doctors at the absolute least. But yeah, we got a lot of. It takes me back to the original series when we go on all these away missions, and it's always Captain Kirk, Spock, and Dr. McCoy. Three of the most important people on the ship are always off of the ship together at the same time. This made me think of. Um, then we get down to this little dirty planet with all of these what they're saying are bones of species. I guess they're assuming that it's species 10C's bones, but we got these bones, and then we got our away team down there checking things out. Um, Reinhardt said, and enough with the hero slow mo walk. They've been doing the crap out of that this year. Yep, yep. They all come marching down the hallway. Ain't nobody coming the other way. Be like, why y'all walking right down the middle of the hallway like y'all own the ship? But yeah, so we get down on this planet. Yeah, I am the magician. I am the dark magician. I'm sorry. Yes, this is a dirty little planet. Yes. So we get down here. Um, and these little spots of colorful dust, somehow this little colorful dust is getting all up in their suits. And I'm like, I thought that was the whole point of the bio suit, that nothing was supposed to be able to enter it, that things are supposed to be sealed, airtight. Well, apparently not so much. The dust came in, and Saru had like a freaking panic attack. He almost, you know what, on himself, messing around because he is seeing what was going on, I guess, on this planet before it was destroyed. So he was, you would call it a hallucination, but I also would just call it a vision. Yeah, you said there's no guarantee that those bones were from 10C. No guarantee at all, because we don't even know what 10C looks like. Yeah, except that they wouldn't waste an episode script on the wrong species. Are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? I mean, getting towards the end, I don't know. Now this little planet, the desolation, how you said no. Saru totally went in his suit. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't the only one. The only person I think, and look, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of the pictures. Who cares? The pictures are just here for entertainment purposes. But Is it just me, or would the first thing that you assumed when Colbert, Michael, and Saru all were affected by the dust, but Detmer wasn't? Would you guys assume that it was because of her facial implant? That was the first thing I would have thought of. Be like, what's different about her than us? And I would have been like, oh, it's the facial implant. Of course, I would have been wrong. I would have been wrong. But isn't that like, wouldn't that be the first thing that you kind of consider at least? I don't know. Let me know. So yeah, they was walking around down there on the little dirty ass planet, and they were prepared to find anything that would give them a leg up on how to communicate with 10C. Then everybody, of course, starts to get affected by the dust. They find out that this dust is going through, or it is not being filtered by the biosuit. They make some adjustments, and now just instantly they felt better. And I felt like there that it should have at least been a few minutes before they came down. Now, I have noticed that in the original series, that we've had issues where they've gone on planets and get to touching stuff, but it's always like there's a tear in your glove, or just something wasn't sealed properly, and that's how this contaminant got into the suit. I've never seen the suit not be able to filter something out. I just thought that was, if you wanted to introduce the fact that this dust does something special, make it make sense in the universe. Have somebody's pants ripped or something to say, this is how it got in. Reinhardt said, I still got thoughts of Detmer's implant, but I don't want to be that Star Trek fan. Oh, gosh. Angus said, the faces in the helmets were distracting to me. Something about the lighting made them feel disconcerting. I don't like that when they, and I'm guessing that they do this with the CGI or something. I've never been a fan of the way that looks. Even in the Marvel stuff, sometimes I get a little messed up when Tony Stark was in his suit and we're seeing it from the inside or whatever. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It'll knock you off your rocker. Okay, I'm the Dark Magician said, what I wish is that they would stop making up new species that are threats and capitalize and explore the species we already have. Where are the Kelvins at? And that's who I initially thought that we were going to run into on the other side of the galactic barrier. After I had been reminded of that episode, I'm like, well, that's probably who we're going to bump into, the flipping Kelvins. The Takan, Nasine, the Iconians, and they name dropped several of those species, but we're not using any of them. They want to make a new species. And I guess because if you make a new species, there is no canon. You don't have the old heads arguing about canon. You just have to accept whatever they introduce about this new species. I guess I kind of get it, but yeah, it does beg the question, where are all these other species at that we are already familiar with? Hell, where are the Klingons? I'd like to know where they are. Angus said, heck, remember that episode of TOS where everyone went crazy because of the water from a collapsing planet? The first guy infected took his glove off and touched the surface. Yeah, so we can see what happened. We know that, oh, this is why. He took his glove off. I think he wiped his nose or something, and he touched the liquid or something. I know that. But yeah, we saw what happened. In this episode, we didn't get any indication that anything went wrong. In fact, nothing did go wrong, except those suits were not ready to filter out whatever is in the environment on this planet. Reinhardt said that was one of his favorite episodes, Angus. Angus also said the big bads from Picard season 1, and they were never heard from again. Because yeah, we were all in this group. We were kind of like I would like to see that kind of thing happen when we run into that species, but it's a brand new species. You said, and then TNG actually copied that their first season, kind of. Yeah, the naked, was it the naked now and the naked time and naked now. So yeah, I didn't understand how we got where we were as far as the biosuits. Now this was in my opinion, when Saru started losing his shit like that, I think Burnham should have sent him on back. But here you got this man, you got Saru literally losing his crap on this planet. And you were like, no, we just gonna let Dr. Colbert take a look at him. And I'm like, why you didn't send him back? Because at that point he was a liability. Even though it turns out everybody was gonna be a liability except for Detmer. But yeah, that was just like he was a liability. Angus said it was a fun episode of TOS, but going down in protective gear and then taking your glove off, people do that. Angus, I was in the military. I done seen people we didn't walk into the gas chamber, and they do that to us. It's not the same kind of gas, of course, but we walk into this gas chamber. We have to take our mask off, but it's like, why take it off? Why are you taking it off early? We have to take it off because they want us to get lungfuls of this gas. But I'm like, why are you walking in here? It ain't nothing. You're not getting a prize for being able to take this mask off early. Eventually, that shit's gonna burn your lungs and your eyes and your nose and your mouth. You're gonna be snotting and spitting all over the place. Why would you take that mask off early? Because that's what people do. For some reason, they do dumb shit. Said, where I gotta put my glasses on. Where are the Voth? I don't even remember the Voth. No splinter group went out back to Earth. It's the what century? Yeah. We get some stupid stuff that every now and then you get to asking yourself why they don't go in certain directions. I'm trying to chill. I'm just coasting, just fly like a little feather blowing in the wind until something really egregiously stupid happens. And then I do have to say something. We get into egregiously stupid for me. Now, egregiously stupid for me and egregiously stupid for you might be two different places. We're going to get to egregiously stupid for me in just a minute. So yeah, they go over, they inspect the bones, they go inside the structures, and they find out that the structure that they're in is a nursery of some sort back in the day, and the little dust that's left behind there, it it is invoking feelings of love. When you're out on the planet's surface, you're getting the feeling of immense panic and fear. And I don't know, I don't know how. I know that this is going to help them learn how to communicate with the 10C in some way, shape, or form. I'm just not aware of how. I feel like we could have cut this stuff going on the planet down in half and with our asses back on the ship and figured out how we're going to use these space narcotics to communicate with 10C. And another thing I didn't like is we're still doing this. At the end of the season, we're going to learn about the bridge crew. Now, we've had 7 episodes before the hiatus that, we could have started introducing aspects of these people's personalities a little bit better, making them more a part of the conversation on the bridge or in the turbo lifts or anywhere. They could be. Instead, they're waiting to the end of the season, and it's like we're gonna send Detmer down there to just pump out a bunch of exposition about her former life. I get it. It needs to be done. It needs to be executed a little bit better, in my opinion. They got all the space narcotics blowing around all over around Burnham. Burnham should have all kinds of highs going on. Reinhardt said, and stop putting your department color on the EV suits. I know that they're trying to look cool, but it just looks like why. Yep. Because I mean, these suits, they are nice. I like them, but it is a bit elaborate. Yeah. Yeah, but this is when Saru's still freaking out. This is when shit starts to get stupid to me. And all of everything with Book and Tarka was just downright stupid to me. Because there is no way, with a full complement of security officers, you mean to tell me that somebody could beam onto the ship, be moving around in the Jeffries tubes? There is nothing that says intruder alert, intruder alert. At this point in the game, Book should be an intruder. He should his DNA should not it should be registered by Zora, but it should not be recognized as friendly DNA or friendly bioscience. I know that they are using this little device to hide your bioscience, but you can't hide from people. And it should be people all over this ship, all over it. I had real problems. And then you said no laser trip sensors in the tubes, just nothing to keep something exactly like this from happening. This was what is unrealistic to me. It's unrealistic that you would be able to get on this ship without being noticed. But even if you did, you're doing all of this crawling around in the Jeffries tubes, you eavesdropping on people's conversations, uh you sabotaging the replicators, and you find yourself in engineering, and there is nobody but Reno there. There was nobody else in engineering. That just don't make sense to me. Said at least the space behind the walls is getting saner. Yeah, and that was another thing. I really did think about that. Like just last season, about this time, we saw freaking a planet inside of Discovery. It was like all of the areas between the turbo lifts was humongous. It was a lot of room in there. And now we got this cramped space of a Jeffries tube. I would like to know which one it is. That type of stuff bothers me. You said I told you it's like we got a certain number of episodes uh we need to fill. So stretch, stretch, stretch. Yeah. They can, but I mean all the rest of the series are stopping at 10 episodes. If you only got 10 episodes worth of material, it's okay to stop. I'm all right with that. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm okay. If you're going to give me 10 stellar episodes, I'm okay with that. If I'm getting 13 episodes and you are stuffing it with inconsequential stuff, I'm not getting any further knowledge about this crew, then I got a problem. And I think that's where my problem with this episode lies. We got more hints about Kovich because Dr. Harai, is that his name? I always forget his name. Yeah, I wrote it down. Harai. Dr. Harai says that Kovich taught him this game, and it's an ancient Earth word puzzle. So again, we're back. Kovich knows an awful lot about ancient Earth. Kovich is some type of historian possibly time traveler, because he has relics from, and I know that we have relics from all of these different ages in our civilization's history. But Kovich just got everything. He knows a little bit of everything. I'm thinking Kovich, we're going to find out, of course, that he has a certain skill set, and his skill set might include going and moving around in time, because he just has such a handle on stuff from ancient Earth, you know. Also, while we're talking about Harai, that is when we find out that the president didn't like the way that he spoke to Burnham. It felt, he feels like he's a downer, and she basically told him, they don't need your pessimism. They need to be uplifted. They're on a very dangerous mission. You can say something that adds to their success instead of saying things that take away. And he had to catch himself at the end because he was on that old bullshit again. I'm like, look, Harai, you ain't even supposed to be here. The least you can do is be uplifting, be on everybody's team. We already have Ndoye, who is not feeling none of this trip right now. You said Klingons had crossword puzzles too. For the Romulans, crosswords were considered torture devices on the banned list. Okay. And you said there's a perfectly good reason you had those big castles in Discovery in season 1, 2, and 3. Discovery was built using Time Lord technology. Using Time Lord technology, bigger on the inside. Yeah, you could help yourself. That was funny, right, Hart? That was funny. So yeah, so I am, the puzzle of Kovich is been burning me up for the last season, and now pretty much all of this season. I really do want to know what he is, who he is, what does he bring to this table, Kovich. Yeah, President Rillick, I guess in this episode, um, I stopped with the I don't trust her. I trust her now. I hope it's not a mistake, but I do trust her now. And we see Reno. Of course, she has been imprisoned by Tarka, even though when she walks into engineering and finds him on the floor, she has the upper hand. I don't know how this shit turned around and she is the one being held hostage, but here we are. He said, if they give us what Kovich is, they better come with something really good. Man, they've been building this up for almost 2 years. Yes, I will not accept mediocrity when it comes to Kovich. We better find out something, and soon. I did enjoy seeing Reno in this episode. I know that she is there on a very limited basis on set. I'm glad that they've used her in a way that makes her kind of important to this episode. She's the only person, I guess, who knows that Tarka and Book are on the ship. And I'm guessing that when she saw Tarka, that she didn't have enough time to hit her comm badge or do a site-to-site transport or anything. He got the comm badge from her first, I suppose. But I'm offering those because those are things that she could have done rather than being caught. Your transporter is right on your chest. I hit the button, I'm anywhere, and then I can say these fools is on the ship, or I could just yell Zora, Book and Tarka are on the ship. None of that happened. I'm a little, I'm upset. I'm upset by how messy this little part of the plot is. You guys are giving me reasons to be to be upset about other parts of the plot, but I wasn't upset about those. What upset me was the book and Tarka. This whole angle is stupid. You got a sentient ship that I can just talk to and say, Zora, call so and so. Zora, get a security dispatch down here. Zora, do the. I could do any of that, but she didn't. Site to site transport, call security down to engineering, anything. I'm not buying that this could happen. I'm not on this ship. So there's my complaint. This is where they jumped the shark, trying to add Tarka and Book into this episode, made the episode messy to me. And that was the messy part for me. Now, of course, the away team comes back. They are going to give a briefing here about what they discovered about the angel dust from the planet. Harai, Dr. Harai had some old bull. He was on his Debbie Downer stuff to say, and he got checked by the president. So now I guess we just we need to find out how this dust is going to be beneficial in communicating. There was one thing that I forgot to mention, that Book and Tarka have enlisted the help of Ndoye. Now, Ndoye is not just being completely messy. She says, we're going to try diplomacy first. If diplomacy doesn't work, I'm going to assist you guys in getting to that device when we go in that hyperfield. So those are the things that that's how Ndoye is supposed to help them. But yeah, next week, I guess, I don't know. Are we trying to figure out who 10C or how to communicate with 10C? I hope that we do communicate with 10C next week. Don't drag this out any longer. We've been waiting for the entire season to get this answer. Give us the answer. Give us the answer, Star Trek. That's why we didn't see Tarka capturing Reno. It was way too messy to explain. Exactly, because she had too many ways to get out of that situation. To me, he would have had to immediately, like when she stood over and was talking to him, he would have had to immediately hop up off the floor and attacked her. And still, I still don't see how they would have gotten her and held her hostage. You said, I say again, it's unrealistic that a linguistics expert of his caliber is tactless. I don't know. Just think about how many, I don't know if you've had a person who, a medical professional, their bedside manner stinks. This is part of your job. Your job is to deliver good or bad news to people in a way that elicits empathy. But these people don't know how to do it. I think that you could teach a person a science, but you can't teach them how to be empathetic. Sometimes they don't know how their words are coming across. I've even been accused of that, and I think I'm an empathetic person. But it's like I've been counseled on many times about just being blunt, and some people don't like blunt. I prefer blunt. I prefer it, but some people don't like it. They can't understand or they can't handle getting that information and it not being watered down or sugar coated. And then there was this, and this is just a way to get Adira involved, because I honestly believe that the writers are like, okay, what the hell are we going to do with Adira now? We've eliminated Gray out of the situation by sending Gray to Trill. What are we going to do with Adira moving forward? I honestly believe that what they're doing is setting her up, or setting them up for another season, not even for this season. we've been this long without Adira in this season. We don't need them for the end of the season. They didn't even need to be here. They could have stayed on Trill. But now we got to figure out what we're gonna do with them now that they're back, and that was a problem to me as well. So those are the issues and then the things that I liked. Again, I didn't have as big a problem as most with them with them on that planet or even going to the planet. I didn't have as big a problem as most. I do see I see the argument. I say, yeah, the stuff that bothered me all went down on that ship. So no, was it the best episode of Star Trek Discovery at all? It was not. But uh what I did like about it, I guess, is that we are one step closer. They can't keep the answer from us for too much longer. So we're one step closer to getting the mystery behind 10C. I think every episode is one step closer to finding out what the hell COVID is. So those are the things, I guess, to give this a star rating. It started off a whole heck of a lot higher than this. I think when I first watched the episode, I wasn't thrilled with it, but I was like 3.75 out of 5. But now I think I will go 3 out of 5. And the 3 is me being generous, because to watch this thing a second and third time, and not continue to find redeeming things, but every time I watched it, I got just a little bit more annoyed. Yeah, this was not the best episode. Reinhardt said, okay, let's not have another season finale that feels like after the fact. This show is too good for that. And they've done that 2 seasons now. And Angus said 10C could be that species from Farpoint. And the only problem is that Michelle Paradise said that this is a seat. Now she could be misleading us. It could be a misdirect. But she said in an interview that this was a species made for discovery. So if it was made for discovery, it can't be anybody that we've seen before, or that we can go back and say this is what this species is supposed to be like or act like. Because I think they're trying to avoid canon and being boxed in by it. So I get that part. But yeah, wait until the last episode is unless it's gonna be a cliffhanger and we have to wait until next season to find out some stuff, and then I'm gonna really be pissed. Yeah, might as well bring it back to the Kelpians, Angus. 10C could be highly advanced lost colony of Kelpians. Kelpians, they were totally made for discovery. They were brand new. Only thing about that, though, they made the Kelpians. They made them at a time when we were supposed to be 10 years before Kirk and his maiden voyage on an Enterprise was going to happen. And throughout the years, we've never heard of the Kelpians again. So I think they introduced the Kelpians at the wrong time. If they were going to introduce the Kelpians for us to have the explanation as to why we've never seen a Kelpian in the original series and Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, especially Deep Space Nine, all of these other Voyager. Well, we probably wouldn't have seen them in Voyager. I'll give them that. But all the rest of these, why didn't we see them? They should have introduced Kelpians after they jumped into the future. Then we wouldn't have had Saru. I've been saying that too, Angus. Next season, we need to see some damn Klingons. Yes. What are we waiting for? What's the story? They gotta have a story. There has to be a reason why they're holding back on the Klingons. That's a legacy species. We've been seeing Romulans and Vulcans and Ferengi. No Klingons, none in Starfleet, none. Period. We haven't seen them at all. Let's see. Reinhardt said they know they goofed up Angus on going on so bad in the first season of Discovery. They're just avoiding them now. Even on Picard, they are, but they're not showing us any Klingons. No, ain't seen none. I'm yeah, I would like to know. You can't tell me that they are obsolete. Obsolete. I need to know where the Klingons are. And I need to know really, really soon. Now we're going into Picard. We're going into Picard. But before we get into Picard, we're going to do what you're watching, but I need to take a break. I need to blow my nose. And I mean, I really need to like really blow it because I feel full up here. So I need to blow my nose. I'm going to take a little break and then I will be back. We'll do what you're watching and then we will get into Picard. So I'm going to leave you with this wonderful picture of Picard and what's her name? Laris. We got some stuff to talk about with Picard. Let's see. I'm gonna try to see what you guys were talking about while I was gone. Oh, Reinhardt said you forgive him for the Klingon thing. Well, I want to see them though. Look, it's Sir Patrick Stewart. Yes, it is. He looks so happy. Boy, how things are going to change by the time this episode ends, huh? Uh, Angus said they tried to set themselves apart from other Trek with the new Klingon looks, and then they realized their mistake and took steps to fix it. No foul there. Shit happens. They stepped up. Oh, he trying to see if Angus is on Twits. Angus is on Twits, but he don't use it. and Klingons always had a variable look. Yeah, we found out in Enterprise it was because they dabbled in some human super soldier DNA for a while. Yeah, I kind of I'm okay with the varying looks of the Klingon because Quonos is a big ass world, and we saw, of course, we saw one example. We saw two examples of Klingons and how they look. We saw a third example when we looked at the Klingons in the Star Trek movie. But then, let's bring some form of Klingon back into the conversation because that's a character that's been there since day one. Where are they after the burn? I need to know. Reinhardt said, I love that episode of Enterprise, but it seemed unnecessary to come up with an explanation of why the Klingons look different. But okay, I almost was ready to just accept what Worf said in Trials and Tribulations. Like, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about this. So that would have been enough for me. But if they go into it trying to explain, okay, I can live with that. Oh, well, let me hit the what you watching button here. No, I gotta play that. Okay, so Angus was giving me a what he was watching. He said he watched the cartoon anthology for the boys, Diabolical. I need to get into that. I didn't even realize that it was on already. I'm gonna watch that. Crossroads is a big ass world. And Trials and Tribulations was brilliant. I loved it. That is one of my favorite Star Trek episodes. So yeah, even though it's a silly one, I really do. That's one of my favorites. I think my favorite episode of Star Trek, especially when we get to DS9, is In the Pale Moonlight. I loved it. I loved it. It felt every bit of spy kind of intrigue, espionage, all of that. Yeah, I felt I really enjoyed uh In the Pale Moonlight. There's another one, the one that had Picard and Gul Dukat stranded on that planet together. Can't remember the name of it. That's another of my favorites. Lysandra is watching Bel Air, as am I. And I'm telling you, if you guys are not watching Bel Air and you have Peacock, you need to. This show is really well done. Um, Bel Air, yes, sis, I'm with you 100%. Bel Air is the way to go. I had been watching Worst Roommate Ever on Netflix. It's a docu series, and of course, it's about killers. I like the killer shit, and but it is telling these stories of these people who shared a home with somebody who turned out to be a killer. So I have watched the first two episodes of that, and I am I hate to say I'm enjoying it because it is people getting killed and it is true crime, but I did enjoy it. I also started watching what's the Theranos? Uh the Dropout on Hulu. So Elizabeth Holmes story, how she scammed. I've been on a scam kind of. I've been on a scam train because if you guys didn't know that my latest video that I put out was me talking about the Tinder swindler. I did a video talking about that. That was a scam. I've also got in here. I haven't put it out in I haven't recorded the episode yet about inventing Anna, which was another scam type thing. And then we have Elizabeth Holmes with Theranos. These are not docu-series. This one is just a series about the situation. So it's based on the true events, but it is not uh it's not tied all in truth. We're getting the true story, but we're getting some creative liberties being taken, I guess is what I'm saying. Reinhardt said he watched the first episode and haven't gotten any further so far. So you might not, I mean, I'm guessing you didn't like the first one because I found it hard to not watch the second and third. The first three came out together. 1, 2, 3 came out on the same day. I watched all three of those immediately. Immediately. I got my son and my daughter-in-law to watch it. They watch it now. They are stuck on it. I have talked about it so much. My sister has started watching it. Lysandra started watching it. Davina started watching it. I would love to really talk about Bel Air. Huh? You said 8 episodes are released now, but the Aquafina episode is full on cringe with talking poop. Oh Lord. I know what I'm going what I'm in for when I watch The Boys. So I guess I'm just ready for whatever foolishness they throw at me this season. I am truly looking forward to this season of The Boys. Reinhardt said one of the best episodes in all of Star Trek, Tasha, in the pale moonlight. My God, Avery Brooks brought it for real. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All the way down to the end when he's like, I can live with it. Oh my goodness. Is that what he said? I can live with it. Oh my goodness. Reinhardt said, well, what he's watching, been watching a lot of YouTube content, haven't started any new shows really. Oh, you said you was going to tell me that you love the video I made. Which one? Because I put out 2 videos in the last couple of weeks because I am trying to get back into making videos for the people who are not interested in the live streams. But let me know which one you felt was better. I think I did the Tinder Swindler, and what was the other one? The one about Kimmy. Kimmy, the I won't say the name because yeah. What you say? You just been busy. Yeah. And Lysandra is saying she loves Bel Air. It rocks. And you liked the video about the con artist. Well, I appreciate you watching it because that was a long one. And and I had a lot of fun filming the video. Or I had a lot of fun editing the video. I put a whole lot of foolishness into that video. So yeah, those are the things that I'm watching. I'm glad you brought up Diabolical, Angus, because that is something that I had overlooked that it was already available. We could have been talking about that. I love the boys. Um I think that was it, right? That's the only new suggestion that I got. I'm going to be taking a look at that. I can't say when, but I'm definitely going to be taking a look at it. Now let's talk about Sir Patrick Stewart. With he just looks so happy. It brought me so much joy as we watched Patrick Stewart or Jean-Luc Picard. As we watched Jean-Luc Picard moving around the winery, the vineyard, I just felt the joy coming off of Sir Patrick Stewart. He really, really looked the part of somebody who was just enjoying uh, a a day a day on his vineyard, and we got to see in a lot of ways how they transport the grapes for the wine. It's kind of just a little weird to me how they're doing it, but again, with that technology available, of course he would do it that way. Of course he would make it easier for yourself. And we see one of the Chateau Picard vintage bottles. He's standing there and they're crating it up. He got a couple bottles, out because he's like, I'm about to, share this with some of my friends too before we ship it out, I guess, to the entire Federation. Anybody who wants some, because they don't sell it, right? They don't sell it. So yeah, but I thought that was nice, and I haven't blew this picture up and looked at the label real good yet. I will. That's coming. Um, but yeah, just the joy of Sir Patrick Stewart. We find out that this is from, I guess, a year and a half to maybe a little longer after the events of season 1 of Star Trek Picard. Um, so yeah, those were the things. We know that it's been roughly a year and a half, maybe longer. Now, Reinhardt said, I got one negative thing to say about this episode. Everything else is pure gravy. Well, I'm pretty sure you're going to let me know what that is, right? Angus said, if they refuse to use transporter tech on the grapes because it somehow degrades the grapes, then that raises other questions about using the tech on people. Exactly. So using it is just fine. Using it on the grapes was just fine. Because then exactly what you said, you start asking other questions if they don't want to use it for these grapes. But yeah, so he is getting so much joy out of just working with his hands. But of course, he is now chancellor of Starfleet Academy as well. But we'll come to that in a minute. Of course, we see him with Laurie's. Hey there, Clarence. Wait a minute, Angus. You got one serious complaint about this episode as well? This episode, I was really, and now let me tell you, I don't know what order you guys watched. So you had a choice last Thursday. You could have watched Star Trek Picard first, or you could have watched Star Trek Discovery first. Why don't you let me know down in the comments which you watched first? Because I'm going to tell you, I watched Disco first. And then I went straight into Picard. Now, you guys know that I have all kinds of issues. I was in the bed watching both. I watched Discovery first, and I turned on Picard. And I fell asleep at some point on Picard, and I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until I started seeing stuff that other people were talking about, and I was like, I didn't see that. I don't remember going to sleep. So there was that. But yeah, I fell asleep, so I tried to watch it again. I fell asleep at almost the exact same point again because I didn't remember. When I watched it all the way through that third time, I was like, I missed I'll say about 8 minutes in the middle, and we'll get to that. But yeah, this one I didn't find too much to nitpick. I got a few. I guess I do have a few, but I didn't find too much to like nitpick. I think I was just getting excited that Picard is back, that we get to see the next chapter in this saga, especially since we have been seeing all of the pictures that had been released in the trailers. So now I was super excited. Reinhardt said, I got to say, I'm not a fan of the cold opening thing that people have been doing, but if you're going to do it in Star Trek Picard did it perfectly. Yes, I rather enjoyed it. I liked the new opening sequence. I like the fact that the music has picked up just a bit, and that we are seeing things that are reminders, I guess, of how this is all about time. Reminders of Sir Patrick Stewart and his relationship with his mother, which we'll get to. I guess we can get to that real shortly. But yeah, there were just those things that I truly enjoyed this episode. Angus, you said your issue is at the end. Okay, well, let me know when we get there. And Reinhardt says he bets that Angus's is the same as his. Clarence watched Picard first. Angus watched Picard first. Uh, I don't know. Nobody else is telling me, but I watched Discovery first, and I think that might have been I should have watched Picard first. So this week coming up, even though this is like we're getting into critical territory with Discovery, I will watch Picard first this week. Yeah. Uh, you said you were talking about the battle scene that they opened with. That's what bothered you? That didn't bother me. Tell me why. He said, "How about Picard's mom being turned into a Borg queen?" And how many stars did I give Disco? I gave it I think it was 3.25. Remind me what I said, y'all. I think it was 3.25. No, it was 3. It was 3, Clarence, because and the thing is I gave it the 3 because after I watched it 2 more times, I began to nitpick things. Now, it wasn't I don't think to the degree of I cannot stand this episode as others, but I always had the issue with Book and Tarka being able to invade Discovery. It just and to take a hostage just doesn't make sense. Um it's a big old reach. But the rest of the stuff, some of this stuff I didn't have a problem with. Now, Angus said, "How about Picard's mom being turned into a Borg queen?" I am wondering if that's what happened. Was it really his mama? You know what I mean? Was the Borg queen really his mama? Oh, you loved the battle scene they opened up with. Yeah, I liked it too. Oh, you said that's not your issue. It kind of explains why Picard was singled out to become Locutus. That is something that I did not even consider. You are right. It is. It would make that kind of sense. Clarence says the 90s Trek feel of Picard was amazing. It did feel really familiar. Yes. More screen time for Reno. Yes. And I just didn't like the fact that she was captured. I didn't like that. But again, she's I guess somebody who just is like a special guest star when we see Reno. But I didn't like the way she was used towards the end. Especially the ship scenes, Clarence, you really like that, huh? Reinhardt said, "No, I think they downloaded that memory from him." Oh, Reinhardt. Okay. Rich in the program. Because that could have happened as well. I think they downloaded that memory from him when he was part of the collective way back in the day. Remember, they know every part of your life. Yes. Clarence said it better not be his mom's. That would be exciting. I mean, no, it wouldn't be exciting. It would be disappointing. Yes, I did think that it was a misdirect with her using the same vernacular. Look up Jean-Luc. But Reinhardt, what you said, that might be a perfect explanation as to how they knew how to get to him. Angus said her face was obscured by a mask for a reason. Also, that memory of his mother could have been a Borg implanted memory. Um, but isn't it an entirely different actress playing the Borg Queen than played his mother? That's where I would have the issue with. I thought it was a different actress. Her face was obscured by the mask, but even taking the mask off, would it be his mother or would it be this other lady that they have for the Borg Queen? Let me know what y'all think. What's going on, Davina? How are you today, girl? Right, Reinhardt. It's not the same actress. Yeah. So yeah, things was all gravy right here in this picture. Sir Patrick Stewart, or I keep calling him by his real name, Jean-Luc Picard. He's standing here and he's having so much fun on the doggone vineyard. And then I guess things get weird. And look, I feel like I too would have been weirded out by this whole situation. Okay, because we are just now finding out that her husband Gibran, who she had been promised to for their entire life, they were put together as children, were chosen for each other, and now they have he passed away at some point 18 months ago. So that's how I know that it's been at least 18 months, but I would think it would be a little bit more than 18 months since the events of Star Trek Picard season 1. So roughly in the 18 months to 2-year range, right? Okay. So he was down. Oh, girl, I'm here. I'm doing well. Yeah, we'll talk. Better than before. Um, Reinhardt, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I can't say that Picard had fallen for her. They have a friendship, and their friendship was uh, everything was just fine within this friendship until she made a move. Now, I'm not saying that she's entirely wrong, because she might be past her husband's death, doesn't mean Picard is. So for her to have, she waited a year and a half to make her move. Okay, so she at least gave him that much time. She waited a year and a half to make her move, but just because she's ready doesn't mean he's ready. But I also can recognize that there is something else that is keeping him from wanting to be romantically involved with her or anybody else. Uh, I actually kind of felt this scene, and um, it's like he wants to, but he doesn't want to take the chance. And I don't, I guess we're going to find out the why behind that this season. But Laurice was like, well, things is about to be weird, and I don't have time for weird. I don't have time for weird. I'm too old for weird, or I'm too old for awkward, is what she said. And I feel her. But she did. She went ahead on and she shot her shot, and she felt like he turned her down. He really didn't. He was just hesitating. But we'll see how that goes as we move throughout the season. They were having so much fun before she did that, though, wasn't they? um, Reinhardt says, I'm going to tell you the one thing I did like. They go out of their way to not mention Beverly so much that it's weird. Yeah, I expected her to be name dropped, but they didn't drop her name. And I was like, well, why not? Wasn't they married? Oh, you said you didn't like that. Yeah, because I was feeling that way too, Reinhardt. Like, well, I mean, he was married to her. Things didn't work out for whatever reason, but they were married, and at least say her name. So the next day, the morning after, Yep, Picard's final frontier, love. Lord have mercy. And what a trip that's going to be, Picard. I'm telling you. Oh gosh. Well, the next day, things were awkward as we spoke about. He was on his way to give the speech at Starfleet Academy, and we fully expect for Laris. I say her name different every time I say her name. We kind of expect that she was not going to be around much after that because things just got really weird, and he just wasn't. First of all, I wouldn't. Yeah, you guys are right. They were married in the alternate timeline. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, but he did love her, didn't he? Didn't he love her? But, but I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was about to say. Okay, Board Queen was played by Annie Wershing. Now I knew about her. I didn't know who was the mother, Yvette Picard, played by Madeline Wise. God, you know what? I can't remember. Clarence go to multiple universes. Yeah, he had to have. There were several episodes of some shenanigans. That as far as I can remember. Yeah, from the Guinan conversation. Yeah, as far as I can remember, they did go to another universe. Remember that one episode where where they were at war. Enterprise was a warship. Am I thinking of the right one? It was one of those ones with the Tasha Yar. Tasha Yar was back. You guys remember the one I'm talking about. So yeah, so now we know things are about to be weird, but we don't even have to worry about that because stuff changes by the time we get to the end of this episode. I loved his speech at Starfleet Academy. I thought that it was personal enough, that he was giving out his some of his personal information, and that it was inclusive enough that he was talking about the way that the growth of Starfleet Academy, and now we've got our first fully Romulan student. So how about that? You said you think Guinan might have been referring to something that happened off screen that we didn't see. I mean, I thought it was maybe that was one of them. The thing where she was talking about going to that. I mean, when she said we've been through, I've held your hand through multiple universes. Because remember, she was the only person on the ship that realized some things had changed. So she did go to another universe with him and the crew, and she was the only person who wasn't affected by that jump. Yesterday's Enterprise. Yep, that's the one. Reinhardt says, I don't dislike the fact that they're saying he may have had domestic violence in his life when he was a child, but I would hope we'd moved past that by then. Well, he is a champion for domestic violence. Sir Patrick Stewart is, because in his real life mother was a victim of domestic violence, and by proxy he was, because if your child sees you fighting with your significant other, spouse, whomever, all the time, that implants on them. So he himself considers himself a victim, and he is very vocal about that, domestic violence, and he gives to all kinds of charities that are concerning that. He heads a charity concerning that. So yes, it is a little bit like art imitating life for him. You said if you had a Federation ship, it would be named the Hikaru Sulu. And yeah, Reinhardt, you said you remember him talking about that. Yeah, so um because it's something he feels so very strongly about, I'm not shocked or surprised that it shows up. It's showing up in his work. Um, but yes, I just don't know if you guys know how much I love Jean-Luc Picard. It just brought me so much joy to see him happy at the beginning of this, to see this address. He is inspiring an entire new class of Starfleet officers. I was here for it. And then the amount of fun that he has when he is with Raffi, they look so relaxed together. They were just having so much fun. Just this right here looked like it could be a picture that you put up on your mantle. I might actually print this out because I just love them. Um, Angus said, "Your worst memory from childhood is important to break that cycle." Yep, and and uh, it takes a little help sometimes. um, if I'm not about to go into it now, but I've got my own situation story where the person what made me get away is the person promised me that the next time that I'm gonna go kill you. It ain't gonna be no fight. And once you say that, it's like, ooh, exit, stage left. Because I feel like I believed him in that moment. So yes. Reinhardt said, as a person who's been playing Star Trek Online for 12 years, I love they gave credit to some of the designers of the game when they used their ship designs in this episode. Yep, we'll get to, and I'm not up on ships the way y'all are for sure, but we will get to some of the ships a little later. I think I got a picture. I think I do. Um, so as we start to see our yes, they do clearance. They have the lower deck designs, that asymmetrical collar, the kind of a dark turtleneckish thing. I noticed some similarities. There was also another similarity. What was it? Oh no, that was in Discovery when they said something about steamed bananas. We heard that from Lower Decks as well. So we got some Lower Decks influence on these two episodes as well. We noticed that everybody but Seven is back in Starfleet. Everybody is in Starfleet in some capacity except for Seven. We find out that Seven is now captaining the La Serena for the Fenris Rangers, and she is basically doing her Robin Hood ish. And I'm here for it. We'll get to that. I'm saying these things because I use Trek Core, and I don't know how many people are aware that Trek Core's existence, but I use Trek Core to get screenshots, these stills. They didn't have an awful lot of pictures of Seven. They didn't have an awful lot of pictures of Jurati and Soji, so I won't have a lot to document where we were in the story with them. But the picture, and I don't even have all the pictures. They had like 50 pictures for Picard. So that was far more than I need. So I used, ones that weren't kind of redundant. Reinhardt said, love those current Starfleet uniforms, way better than the current uniforms from last year. And that's the problem with me. We got a lot of current uniforms. There are a lot of current uniforms. What are we wearing? What are we, so nitpick wasn't a big one. Angus says Star Trek has some very beautiful ships. It also has some rank fuglies. Seven was a queen candidate ever. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm not understanding. And you said you didn't know anything about Trek Core. Yeah, so if you're looking for stills, they have them over there. It's just a matter of, sometimes they have exactly what you need or want, and sometimes they don't. And you just take what you get. They're doing that. That's a free service. Yeah. So now Picard is gifting Elnor Spock's memoir. The book is called The Many and the One by Spock. So it's a first edition. So this is uh, a treasured possession that Picard is now handing down to kind of his surrogate. I wouldn't what we call him, like a surrogate son, a nephew. So yeah, so that is the book that he is handing over to Elnor. It seems like their relationship, even though that they have a relationship that is more personal, it seems like now that he is in Starfleet, Elnor is kind of deferring to the Starfleet relationship. I know that you kind of have to do that in public when you are with a commanding officer or a higher ranking officer. But yeah, I felt like they felt a little stiff together. But he did send him away with something that might help him fit in to Starfleet. I thought that was cool. Reinhardt said, I'm going to answer that for you, Angus. Seven was a potential Borg queen, and the lady who wrote that in the Star Trek Voyager novels, Kirsten Byers, is one of the writers on the show. You said, never mind the fact that Picard appears in Spock's book. Yeah, they have a relationship as well, huh? Did Kawat Malat to Starfleet seem like a stretch? I feel like he shouldn't. I don't know. I felt like he shouldn't even have an issue. Like there are certain things he shouldn't have an issue with anything that Starfleet can throw at him. It, it would seem to me that the hand-to-hand combat, he should have that down pat. He should be able to memorize and learn all of these different declarations and whatnot of Starfleet and the Federation. I don't know what the issue would be. Why he seems to be a little bit nervous about being in Starfleet. And I'm like, this should be a piece of cake. It is kind of weird though, Clarence, but it didn't bother me that much, I don't think. You said it's problematic, but there are niches for Kuwait Malat trained boys. And Reinhardt said, remember, he was not supposed to be in that group. Those nuns took him in so he could be put with a family, which never happened. Okay. That makes sense. Then after, we all separate and go our separate ways, Raffi and Elnor getting on their ship, and Picard goes to see Guinan. And she knew he was coming, of course. She knew he was coming. Um, we see some stuff, okay, because you see them over there, but they were giving us reminders of where some of these bottles came from, and I didn't know, or I didn't remember seeing these Avion bottles in Star Trek Enterprise. But there it is, and there is one on Guinan's bar. So say Guinan couldn't kind of why am I tongue tied? Guinan can't quit those big hats. I love those hats. I really do. He said, how awkward is it going to be when he gets into a fight with his fellow cadets and he says, choose to live? Sorian, Casey, Sorian Brandy, but have we ever met a Sorian? I don't remember. Speaking of meeting, they greet with one another with a big old hug. I was very happy to see them. They really do look like two old friends hugging it out. And then we're going to see them sit down and have a conversation about love. I liked it Clarence, I like the explanation for aging of Guinan. Um, and I hope that this is a lesson. We don't never need to bring in another character that is supposedly never going to age, because these explanations, of course, I didn't mind the explanation. The explanations, the fact that we have to explain. Don't bring any other ageless uh races into Star Trek, the MCU, because we're gonna have a what's the problem? We're gonna have an Eternals problem soon with MCU. So yeah, these are things that, yeah, we probably shouldn't bring those ageless characters into sci-fi. But yeah, so she told him basically, like Clarence said a while back in the chat, uh getting through to that heart is going to be his final frontier. That is the last exploration that he needs to take. What is going on with you in your heart? What are you hiding? And I want to say hiding. What are you shielding anybody else from knowing? Because the person he's known the longest, besides the members of the original Enterprise crew, is Guinan. And she don't even know. And they've had a lot of heartfelt conversations. She doesn't even know what it is that he is hiding. Reinhardt said, I got to say that was one of the only things I didn't like about season 1 about the character of Elnor, was how he killed that other Romulan. Oh, I mean, I'll be thinking, was the killing necessary? Was it like I had to kill you or you gonna kill me? Because those I can kind of forgive. If a person gonna kill me, yeah, I might have to kill you first. Angus says that he thought it was perfunctory and moved on past it. Reinhardt said it would have been better if they didn't even reference her age. I think they had to reference her age because she wasn't supposed to grow old. I think they had to, because there will be, just like we are like, it's neither here nor there. I either liked it or didn't like it. It's going to be somebody who is going to pull at that thread forever and ever. They had to cover all of their bases because the fan base is in some ways toxic. I've read ahead. Claire said he liked them both, and he said Q's CG was a bit scary. Yes, we're gonna get to that. Yep, Q did the same thing as Guinan, like, oh, you guys don't like it when I don't look like you, or I haven't aged and you have, so let me snap my finger. Yes, I liked it. I liked their conversation. I hope this is not the last that we see of Guinan this season, but I'm not 100% sure what else they would have for her this season. Um, and then we saw Seven on the La Serena, and she got these people coming in and I guess storming her ship to get these medical supplies that she has absconded with. And we find out that she has one of the holograms from last season. But she's put all the subroutines of all of them into one hologram, and that's the one that speaks Spanish. What is his name? I can't remember what his name is in the series. But yeah, he they get into a fight, and they have to fight these I guess the boarding party off of their ship. At the same time that they are noticing that there is an anomaly, and there's that word, anomaly, out in space. There's something going on out there. So we get past that fight, and then they go to look to find out what's going on outside. Before we get to that, these are some of the things that was on her ship, the La Serena, and they are from all kinds of different eras of Star Trek. So that was just another thing on Trek Core. Also, um, we moved down to where Soji and Jurati are on planet. What is it? Rariton 4. Um, they're having Ryzian wine at the Delta Diner. That Ryzian wine showed up, of course, on Enterprise. Then we see it here on the table for the guest of the Deltas. And then we see it back here as well. So we see, yay, we see some more Ryzian. We see another, they got a lot of liquor. A lot of liquor. Reinhardt said, Guinan is at least 600. Yeah. Angus said, Guinan finds herself in the wrong timeline again. Lord have mercy. She like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. Jerry Ryan, yes, bless her heart. Angus loved the holograms. That was the autopilot, the one that now has the knowledge of all of those holograms. The fight was fun. We need some Robert Picardo this season too. I almost felt like it was hinted at. I might be reading more into something that hologram said than was supposed to be read into it, I guess. But I felt like it was hinted at that, and I don't remember what the exact statement was. I hate that, and I didn't write it down. I hate that. Say you want some Picardo as well? Yes. Oh, I was about to say, I thought I read that wrong, Clarence. You said Jurati has to be your least favorite character. I don't like her much either. Yep, I said it. I would have rather Soji been on the plane, I mean on the ship, and Jurati got left on the planet. I guess I'm going to have to warm up to her. Um, and then, she was just there for immediately the guy that was trying to holler at her at the bar. That was just for an exposition dump. I'm not going. Me and Rios don't go together no more. I killed my last boyfriend, but the reason why I'm not in prison is because I was possessed by an alien. So yeah, it was just exposition dump. Just throw it all out there. Yeah. You said you like that character more this year than last year. She gonna have to grow on me. Yeah. And then we see this guy. This guy. Rios, Captain Rios. He is now the captain of the Stargazer. This is the new and improved Stargazer, of course, not the Stargazer that Picard famously had his first command at. This is Rios Stargazer, and they gave us some beautiful shots of the ship as they were, we always get that little slow-mo outside shot, but it seemed like it was longer this time. I'm not 100% sure. Angus said, from season 1, I wanted a deep dive into AI in android bodies versus being in hologram form. Say Captain Rios looking suave as hell. Yeah. Uh yeah. I you know what? I'm not a big fan of the messy hair. But everything else, yeah, suave as hell. That cigar, that has been a point of contention for a lot of people. I don't have a problem with it, but of course I'm a smoker. So so I wouldn't have a problem. And especially I don't think he's smoking it, is he? It's just he just has it. But then Angus said he lit it up. So ballsy of him to light up a cigar on the bridge. It must not be any kind of rule against it. Because why would he be, he's doing that in front of his entire bridge crew. So, yeah. You said you love Santiago Cabrera since he was on the Hero Show way back in the day, and he kicks ass as Captain Rios. Yes. Well, as Rios. I don't know. We're going to see how he does as Captain Rios. But as Rios, yes, he's an ass kicker. You say you think they'll explain it off as being fake or something? Yeah. I mean, it is. If we have synthahol, why would we have tobacco? So that's a good point. It must be fake. Going back to the outside of the Stargazer, just I guess just beautiful shots of it. I don't really have a whole lot of commentary on the ship. The ship is beautiful, beautiful. I said there's no specific rule against it, but it's poor discipline and might damage morale. Or it can make him seem more down to earth to his crew that he has a vice. There's that makes that kind of humanizes your captain. When you have a captain who moves about and seems to be the epitome of perfection, kind of like Picard, that's intimidating. Far more intimidating than knowing that somebody has a vice, in my opinion. Clarence said, I love this bridge so much versus the bridge action on Disco. Yes. Yes. Everything was far more. Well, first and foremost, we probably know just about as much as about these bridge people as we know about the people on the Discovery Bridge. So there's a problem. But we see, the functionality. Everybody is it's a familiar looking set. Everybody is in their positions. We know what these positions are. Yeah, Stargazer is gorgeous. It is a beautiful ship. Reinhardt said, "Oh, come on, Clarence. They got synthahol, so maybe he replicated cigars that aren't harmful." Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you are echoing my sentiment. You said Angus True. Oh, talking about I don't know which one you guys are talking about, the rules against the cigar or the Stargazer being gorgeous. And this bridge design is off the chain. Yes, it is. We also see the dedication plaque for the original Stargazer and for the Stargazer that we're on right now. So we've got both Stargazer plaques on this ship. Then we see Picard after he has his conversation with Guinan. He goes back home, finds that he's being visited, a house call. And basically he's being called up because in between Seven finding out about the anomaly, Starfleet actually found out as well, and they sent Rios and the Stargazer to go investigate exactly what is going on out there. What is this rift in space? And they go out there, and a message is starting to be transmitted from this ship, and it kind of lends more credence to what Reinhardt was saying about they have gotten this information from the stored memories of people that they have assimilated, to include Picard, because not only did this ship, or outside on the other side of this rift in space, the ship on the other side put out a signal where they were asking for Picard, for help, specifically from Picard. And then they also recited the Federation Charter, one of the articles, and they're basically saying that they want to be part of the Federation. So they called out Picard specifically. That should have been probably a bit of a problem. It wasn't, I guess. They're going to send Picard out there on the Stargazer, of course, to see what the heck is going on, to try to feel out, okay, I'm going out here. They're calling and asking for me. They want to join the Federation. They're a powerful species. So let's go talk to them and see if we can, have a diplomatic conversation. And Picard says, okay, I'll go. He dips out the back door as Lauraris, whatever her name is, was going through the front door, and she didn't get to say goodbye to him. So I feel like that's going to be a big thing as we move forward as well. But yeah, he's back in this thing. He's back in it. I don't know. Oh, you said so right, Reinhardt. She had a scarf under her uniform. Who had a scarf under her uniform? Who are you talking about, Clarence? uh Reinhardt said, I don't know if anybody noticed, but the lady who played the Admiral has been on Star Trek The Next Generation several times, different characters. Yep, because I don't know if I got that picture, but yes, that was on Trek Core as well. um Angus says, in Royal Navy tradition, when a new ship is given the name of an old ship, the new ship inherits all the honors given to the old ship. World War II Warspit had honors from Trafalgar. Well, that's nice. Assimilate us. We promise not to assimilate you back. Assimilation all over the place. So yeah, so he heard the transmission, and of course, Picard, is duty above everything. So whatever, I guess I have to get back out there in the stars where he wants to be anyway. Where he wants to be anyway. Oh, she had a scarf on under her, or a weird looking tunic. Now you're gonna make me go back. I can't tell. What it looks like to me is like, how they have the turtleneck collar or the mock neck collar. Hers doesn't have that kind of collar. Um so yeah, now we're on the Stargazer. We got everybody. The gang's all here. We're about to go over here and talk to this anomaly and see what the hell is really going on. And they get over there, and he's like, I'm Picard. You asked to see me. And then they just immediately start trying to beam onto the ship. And then you notice that it looks like Borg technology, because you got Seven there. And she's like, yes, it is Borg. Now, there shouldn't even be a question. We need to take down this ship. But, hope, the Federation, it stands for hope. And they hope that people can change. And the Borg ain't changing. The Borg is not changing. The Borg has adapted, but they're not changing who they are fundamentally. They come and they want something from you. They want to assimilate something from you. So, needless to say, 7 and 9 was not team let them board up the ship. And I'm trying to remember who was on our team. Who was saying, yeah, we shouldn't let them board the ship. We also had Raffi and her crew. They're out there in the fleet of vessels that have also been called to assist the Stargazer once we realize that something is trying to come through that anomaly. So yeah, there's Raffi and her ship. She like, we got you. I got your back. Whatever you let me know, say the word. They didn't say the word though, because the Borg, of course, once they know how to adapt. So once they realize that they're not being able to just transport through the easy way, well, they figure out a way to circumvent your systems. And sure enough, here we are. We got the damn Borg Queen standing on the bridge of the Stargazer. Let me see. You said that Borg ship is right out of Star Trek Online. Not exactly, but in the game, the Borg Queen had a ship similar to that, and she had the tendrils that come out. Something's not the same because remember, Seven said she was only stunning those people, not killing them. You said, why is Borg technology more susceptible to the Queen? How is Borg tech even different from nanites? And you said, is this the Queen from the future or the past? I'm gonna gamble that it's the future Queen. How? Well, I'm only making that gamble because she has an updated look. It doesn't look like a scaled back look. This look to me would be far more frightening than what we saw in the other. It will be frightening for what I don't see than what we saw in, other iterations of Trek. There's these tendrils coming out of her back. She is starting to assimilate. And look, Clarence was talking about the ships. Now, look, that's another thing that when as it was coming out of that green anomaly, I can't make things out. Some things are just too dark for me. I couldn't see what that ship looked like. I couldn't see if it was one of these ships that we have an example of right here. I know it wasn't a sphere and I know it wasn't a regular cube. So was it a probe or a diamond? And I don't know if it was a type 3. Reinhardt said, yeah, because we know in the preview for next week, she's captured and she doesn't look like any queen we've ever seen before. And Clarence says it also seems like Janeway would have had a hand in this new Borg focused ship. You would think she has had her encounters with the Borg. I would, yeah, I guess they gave her some encounters. I think the encounters that were more impactful to me were the ones from the Next Generation. But yeah, she had her run-ins with the Borg as well. So yeah, I don't know if it, if there was an example of what kind of ship that was. Oh, wait a minute. Reinhardt said most likely the diamond, but not exactly like it. I said designing in the game a little different, but not exactly like I said. Designs in the game are a little different. Okay, so yeah, these are some examples of some of the styles of Borg ships, and then going back to the Borg ship thing though, because Admiral Picard, with his back to the wall, decides we are going to auto destruct this ship. We cannot let it fall into Borg hands because if they assimilate the ship, they assimilate the fleet. So he gives the auto destruct, the very simple auto destruct code, and the ship explodes. And then we find ourselves back on the vineyard and back in Picard's chateau, and things are the same but different. That there's different art on the wall. There are different. It's different. It's like this is Picard's home, but which Picard? And that is when we run upon Q, which I thought was a hell of a reveal. And just like Clarence said, it is a bit spooky with the original Q, the young version. Well, when he snaps his fingers to age himself up like Picard, and he tells him that we are at the end of the road less traveled, that lets me know that we are potentially picking up from where we left in that one episode. Now we're going, but in this episode or in this season, we're going to go back to 2024 Earth, which is long before Picard. So I'm like, I'm wondering how that plays in. Somebody help me. Mm. Reinhardt said they should throw Kate Mulgrew a quick cameo. He gonna say, "See, Clarence, that looks fine." I don't know. It was altogether different when he was talking stuff. Angus said, "Here's my problem: Picard's reaction to Q's appearance. He goes, no, 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 no. He's in immediate denial, pleading for it to not be true. It portrays Picard as having been traumatized by Q. Was he not though? Wouldn't those situations that Q put him in, wouldn't that have been trauma inducing? Knowing that at this age and this stage of your life, here's this trickster. He comes and he's in your kitchen looking the exact same as he did all those years ago until he ages himself up. Would that not be traumatizing? Especially when I'm 90 years old or 100 years old now. Yes, the end of the road not taken. And I agree with you, Clarence. I think Q traumatized everyone because the the omniscience of this being, he can do too much. I would be traumatized because you don't know what version of Loki, you don't know what version of Loki Q. You don't know which version of him is coming. I call him Loki because yes, he is. He's a god, and he's a god of mischief. I would be scared to see him too. Now, at the age I'm at right now. So now the only thing that I think that he's overlooking, Jean-Luc Picard, is that the fact that he is still standing here having a conversation with Q means that Q saved his life, brought him from the brink of death, and everybody is going to get another chance. But he's not thinking about it like that right now. He's probably thinking this entire thing was set up by Q, that the Borg Queen being here was set up by Q. All of this, he is probably immediately in his mind, Q is the culprit behind the entirety of this situation. You said for Picard and Q, it's always been a battle of of wits, not brawn. But that's it. This man, this is Q still at the top of his game. He is not aged a day. Everything with Picard is a step slower. Picard is an old man now. I'm not saying that he's completely punked, but I'm saying he feeling like I do not have time for this bullshit. Not today. And I feel him. I wouldn't want to I would not want to be dealing with Q. And he said, and Picard always won. Well, did he? Did he though? Remember when he had to tell Q how as a matter of fact, it was when they first met the Borg. Remember when he had to tell Q, I need your help? That wasn't a win to me. It was a win because he knew when to ask for help. But that was a situation they wasn't getting out of without Q. Q, Q is at the end of it all could have won any one of the of his encounters with the Enterprise crew by just being a jerk about it and saying, you know what, we don't. This game doesn't stop until I win. Um, you said he's a soon type android. He just doesn't realize it. I don't think he wants to be. I think he knows that elongated his life as well. That prolonged his life. But at the end of it all, he don't want to be. He wants to be a regular boy. He wants to be a real boy. You said maybe not an android in this new timeline. Yeah, but I mean, even being in the original timeline, some type of android, they're not about to make Picard have super strength. They're just not. If they did, I would probably be more upset about that. He said, in a robot body. Reinhardt said, I didn't think it's so much drama. I think he just was on the ship. Wait a minute, man. I'm telling you, what are your comments you're gonna have to type in because I cannot. I don't think it's so much drama. I think he just was on the ship, exploded. He's not dead. He's confused. And now this jerk is back to complicate my life even more. And you said, and Jean-Luc did not always win. Not always. And I don't know where the good point. I think not in this, not an android in this timeline. I don't know which one. You said you sent one earlier, but it had a word in it and it blocked it. Yes, that will happen. Certain words are not going to get through. So yeah, I enjoyed this episode. Um, the little, let me see. I guess the little problems I had was just the Jurati scene, and let me see. Yeah, nothing else really bothered me. I don't think about this. I gotta go back through the pictures and make sure. The exposition dump that I was talking about with Jurati, how we don't have Soji on the ship when we needed her. We needed her. How they kind of underestimated the Borg, and I can't understand why we're still underestimating them. Reinhardt said because, like you said, Tasha, Q made Jean-Luc cry uncle when we first met the Borg because he says we're not ready. You wanted us to be afraid. Well, look at us. We're afraid. Yeah, yeah. He had to ask for help from Q, the last person he wanted to get some help from. Here, this fool. um, Let me see. Do I have anything else? Nope, I don't have anything else for this one. I did enjoy the episode. Um, probably more of a 4.75 because I still, even though I'm trying to devil's advocate on the other side of why Picard uh in this ship even began to talk to the Borg. That was my big problem. You cannot negotiate with terrorists. The Borg are terrorists. You said more ships came to help Picard last season than were at this anomaly. And you know what? I need to I'm gonna show you guys another one of those graphics that they had on uh Trek Core. I think they had a pretty decent graphic of the ships all coming, but I can't remember. I'm gonna go to it and see if I can pull one up. Do 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 do. You said, in your opinion, you feel that this may have been the best first episode of a season. Excuse me. Of a season for all of the new Trek shows. I don't know. I don't think there's any that I can think of that are standing out to me having been better. I guess the only one that I think might even come close was the what you call it, Prodigy. There's that actress that you were talking about, April Grace. Of course, she's a different character, but yep, there she is. Let me think now. Season 2 and season 3, off top, the first episode of both. I can't even remember them. Reinhardt said they knew to come with some real ship designs this time, Clarence, because they got so much grief for that bleak. They had a bleep. The bleep they had last year. Which word you want me to put there? Because you know I like to say them. That was just the same ship copy over and over and over. Clarence is saying that Disco season 2 and season 3 first episodes were bangers. I think season 3 I definitely remember. Season 3 was the one when the Red Angel suit crashed, right? Season 2, I can't remember what the first episode was like in season 2. And Reinhardt said that it would have been kind of cool if they let her be the same character. Yeah. Nope, those ain't the pictures. They don't have one in there. But I know that I'm almost positive that they had a picture of all of those ships. Gosh, and I'm forgetting that this is season 2. Season 2. I thought they had a picture, but I could be wrong. Yeah, because it ain't nothing else. Nope, they didn't have it. I lied. But then there were some pictures from there were some pictures. Where is it? From Penance from the next episode. Now they don't have an awful lot, but this is from the next episode. We saw these. Yeah, we saw these. I think these are the ones that Clarence had put in the Discord. I think everybody is in their dark attire. This totalitarian world that we're living in now. I really don't know what's going on with Jurati over here. I really thought she was pregnant or something. Anyway, Reinhardt said, Clarence, you and I think too much alike. I was just about to say season 2 of Discovery was pretty awesome as well. I don't remember season 2. I don't remember the first episode. I remember as the way things happened, but like with the older Trek series, I've gone back to them so many times and have watched bits and pieces or the entirety of them so many times that sometimes those things stand out. But with the newer Trek series, I haven't done that yet, and maybe I need to revisit the earlier seasons of Discovery, earlier seasons of Picard. Well, it's only one early season of Picard, and I did watch that. But yeah, the earlier seasons, so that I will remember where things happened. Angus says, I think they're going to be more shocked by the things that are not different in the new hellish timeline. And you said when we first met Captain Pike on the Enterprise. So yeah, I can remember that, but I can't remember the situation surrounding it all. I have to watch it again. I don't have until I've watched it several times. I do not have an encyclopedic knowledge of what happened in those episodes. So I got to watch it a few more times. I think I retain more information from the Marvel movies. You know, I can recite that shit back and forth and up and down. But you ask me some Star Trek, and it's like, oh, if I haven't seen it in the last few months, I don't remember. You said Eldor looked like Michael Jackson. Oh gosh, you're so crazy, guy. You are crazy. Oh my goodness. You are out of your mind. Well, thank you for for giving me that chuckle. So yeah, that's it. That's all for Star Trek Picard. Uh Again, I think this one's like a 4.75, just the nitpick stuff. He said, "Oh gosh, yeah, he will give you the vibe, give you that Michael Jackson vibe." Yeah. Okay, let me get myself back together. Yeah, yeah, he did look very Michael Jackson ish. He said, as all our friends from the UK say, that was a banger, amazing episode. Yep, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to next week to see what else we get into with this crew. And I honestly believe that I will be watching Picard first, seeing as though we got a choice for another week in a row. Um, yeah, I'm gonna check out Diabolical. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, um, Angus. You guys tell me if you got anything that you want to add right now. Right now is the time. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I'm gonna leave the chat open for a couple minutes so you guys can tell me what's on your mind. And then I'm gonna find some dinner. And again, I like the fact that we're bringing back some of our older characters, but if they are not going to serve the episode or the story, I don't need to see them. Make sure that they have something to do. Don't just bring them to be bringing them. Give them something to do, because then it takes away from the story when you start just throwing people in just to say, look who it is. I'd rather you have a real reason behind bringing that person into the fold. So a lot of people were, well, what about Jordy? We want Jordy. I want Jordy too, but I want them to have a well thought out way of introducing Jordy into this episode or into this show and have things for Jordy to do. Not just for the sake of, let's just have everybody, let's just make this all TNG all over again. Yay. I don't have to have that. Yep. But like with the Picardo thing, with the doctor, I I miss my whole mouth. I, with the doctor, I had a feeling that they were hinting at it. It was it was something that was said, and I can't remember what it was. And it was around the time in the episode when she was talking about how she should have erased his therapeutic subroutines or something like that from that Rios. Wait a minute. You said you would love to do a disgusting track on this episode. I know what you mean. But this is like when you're doing this, this is what you need to be really careful because this right here, I could just take this apart. A disgusting track. Well, you want some disgusting track? I'm just a dirty mind to give it to you. Yeah, you were still over here petitioning clearance about discussing track. I am too. It don't have to be no time real soon, but I would like to chop it up with you fellas again. Yeah. Um, I guess there's one thing because we didn't do a show yesterday. I will say this: the Batman has exceeded expectations at the box office. They're at last time I checked, it was like 128 million. The box office is back. The big movies are bringing people out. I'm not going to say too much more about it because I don't want to drop any spoilers and accidentally say something that I shouldn't have said. But that movie has exceeded expectations domestically and worldwide. I think it's at worldwide. It's like at $230 million, something like that. Crazy. You said, here are the pops I'm getting: one Star Wars, one Marvel, one Star Trek, and one surprise. One Star Wars, one Marvel, one Star Trek, and one surprise. I'm looking forward to seeing what you got for me, sir. Hmm. I I don't like to try to guess. I'm trying to think. They don't have a lot of Star Trek pops. I've got Uhura and I've got Spock. I think those are the only two I've got. I know I've seen Kirk and Spock, a lot of Kirk Spock. I really haven't seen the rest of the characters like that. And what else? The Marvel, it's so many characters. Yeah. In Star Wars I only got Grogu. That might be the only Star Wars one I got. Yeah, that might be the only Star Wars. Star Wars one is. Oh no, I have Ahsoka as well. Yeah, I got Ahsoka and I got Grogu, and then I have Marvel. That's where I got. I guess most of them are Marvel. Y'all know how I am about my Marvel though, and then my brothers chip in. Um, so I got a couple Deadpool's, a couple Spider Man. I got Mobius, Loki, Storm, Captain Britain, Shang-Chi, Michelle Yeoh's character in Shang-Chi. And I've got Miss Minutes. I got a couple Doctor Stranges. I got Renslayer, Groot, Falcon, the Hulk, Wolverine, Venom. Well, not Venom, Carnage. I got Carnage. Who else? Who else I got back here? Oh, and the last things I got is the boys. I think I got Huey and Huey and Carl Urban's character. I can't think of his name right now. And then I got Decepticon. I got uh the Autobots and the Decepticon. What is their name? Optimus Prime and gosh, why can't I think of his name? Optimus, whatever. I can't remember the other one's name. Shucks. That was a long ass movie. I thought my son was going to see it today. I haven't been able to convince him that it's worth it. Go ahead on and check it out, son. He ain't been he had his cousins over here. So I thought that he would take, all of them to go see the movie. They went to eat or something. They didn't go to the movies. Um so yeah, not my niece and nephews, but my his dad's nieces and nephews. So they not trying to talk to me the way the way my nieces and nephews would. They're not trying to talk to me in the same way. I got one more thing before I get up out of here because you just proud of my nephew. That's all. Just proud of my nephew. My nephew and his team, high school. This is his senior year, so it's really important to when you play basketball or any sport. It's important to play as long as you can. You playing like it's the last time you ever gonna play this game, and yeah, my little nephew, his team won sectionals yesterday, so there he is, my guy. Let me open the original so you can see him. They didn't cut the net down, and there he is holding that trophy. I don't have a Cad Bane, but you know what? Now that I know that he is atrocious to look at, I might be a little bit better prepared. I think I could take it. I didn't couldn't take that live action version. That was scary. So yeah, there's my nephew. He did his thing, and there's the rest of the family. My niece that I talk about so much, my sister that I talk about so much, and my sister's husband, and my nephew. Yay. So that's it. I just wanted to give that congratulations to them as well for his team winning the sectionals and moving on to the regionals. I'm very excited for that. I don't have anything else for you guys today. It's been fun. I see my audience has dipped on me. They done dipped on me. My audience is gone. So, with all that being said, I've got nothing else. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.